Thank you, and I may take you up on that soon. And, seeing as how I am Meg's grandmother, it would be nice if you'd let me help with something, too, Sue-Ann said, her voice giving Julie the distinct impression that she was feeling left out. I wanted to talk to you about that. Meg wants to have a dessert bar instead of a big cake. She wondered if you'd make a variety of desserts. Oh, of course I'll work on a menu. Thanks. So what's going on with you today? Well, I came to tell you the latest gossip. Oh, do tell, Julie said, pretending to be overly interested. Actually, she was a little curious. Well, Darcy heard from her friend Avery that there's a new lighthouse keeper. Lighthouse keeper? That place has been closed down for years, Dixie said. Well, apparently the county has restored it, and they hired someone to live in that little house next to it. They're going to be starting tours and opening a little gift shop. Whoever this mystery person is will be running all of that. That's great. Anything that brings more tourists, Julie said. Well, I just hope the person is decent and not some troublemaker who will wreak havoc in our beloved town, Sue-Ann said. Julie rolled her eyes. Oh, yes, let's not have any troublemakers move here, Mom. Sue-Ann tossed a magazine at her, as they all laughed. As she stood there, staring up at a tall black and white lighthouse, she wondered if she was up to this task. The last few months had taken a toll on her, in a way she couldn't really describe in words, and it wasn't often that her words failed her. She stepped out of her small, compact car and shut the door. Surprisingly, it had gotten her here all the way from Nashville, although there was that moment near Knoxville where she thought the wheel might pop off. Thankfully, it turned out to be a pothole in the road, but it sure gave her quite a shock. Emma Mackenzie had spent her life taking care of people, first her sick mother and then her dysfunctional grandmother. Now she was responsible for this huge lighthouse, and it would be impossible to hide her imperfections when she was the one guiding strangers through the tall building day after day. Sure, she could have said no to this job, but when her old friend had told her about it, she'd been intrigued. After all, her previous line of work was nothing like this. Every day had been stressful and full of adrenaline. Surely walking people through a lighthouse would be a cakewalk compared to that. Never mind that she knew next to nothing about lighthouses, except what she'd learned watching YouTube videos and grilling her old friend. Paul had been a buddy of hers in high school, and when he'd heard about her recent situation, he'd been the first to step up with the opportunity. He lived in Atlanta now, working as a headhunter mostly for the tech industry, but he had connections in Seagrove, and one thing had led to another. After meetings with the county, mostly virtual, she'd been hired. A part of her was scared a bit, but the larger part of her was grateful to get away from the regular life. Escaping to a small island that nobody had even heard of made her feel safer than she had in years. When she looked at the ocean, it reminded her of her mother. She'd passed away almost 10 years ago now, but Emma would have given anything to have one more day with her. She so loved the ocean. They went on beach vacations a lot when she was a kid, even though her mother was working 2 jobs just to pay for things like that. Having never had a father in her life, Emma had counted on her mom. Although she'd been in her late 20s when her mom was diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer, it hadn't made it any easier. She needed her, even now at 40 years old. She had especially needed her when she had to step up and take care of her grandmother. The woman had been impossible to deal with for most of her life, and being responsible for her after her own mother had passed away almost destroyed her. In the end, a stroke in her sleep had taken her, but not before she'd taken just about everything out of Emma. That was already a year ago. How time flew. Oh, good, you made it! A woman walked toward her, a smile on her face. She looked overly made up for the area, and her hair was so high that it looked like cotton candy piled on her head. Yeah, sorry I'm a little late. There was traffic coming through Charleston. She waved her hand. No problem. We don't really follow time too closely around here. I'm Henrietta. We spoke on the phone. Emma nodded. Oh, yes. Nice to meet you. Why don't you follow me, and I'll show you your new home? Before Emma could respond,